What's good, y'all? We back with another video. This video, we're gonna get straight to it. We're talking about the best diet, right? I'm not gonna say best diet for 2024, just the best diet in general. You know, and dieting is something that is popular. People want to know what the next fad diet is. I don't believe in fad diets, and that's the premise of this video, is to help you understand that you don't need to be on a carnivore diet. You don't need to be on a plant-based diet. You don't need to be on an Atkins diet. You don't need a diet. But you have to understand what a diet fundamentally is. You have to understand there are three macronutrients that are important. You have fats, you have proteins, you have carbs, right? The whole point of a diet is to help you get into a caloric deficit, because when people go on a diet, it's for them to lose weight, or really they want to lose fat. The only way you can do that is to be in a caloric deficit. And the only way you can be in a caloric deficit is if you decrease one macronutrient that's there, right? So each diet, for example, carnivore diet, basically, or let's say paleo, keto, these diets, they'll remove the carbs as a macronutrient. They'll keep everything else. So proteins, fats are high, carbs basically at zero, right? What does that do? Well, that basically allows for you to be in a caloric deficit, but also it depends on how your body reacts to it. Everyone's different. So you can't prescribe one specific diet to everyone, which is what you see with a lot of these extreme diets. One person will say, hey, keto is the best thing ever, right? Shout out to Brandon Carter, but I disagree. Keto is not the best thing ever. I think you have to get off of it, because you have to have carbs. Carbs are like energy sources for you, right? And your body needs the carbs to function. So you have to understand these wild diets. One, it's for monetary purposes. If you see a guru selling a diet to you, it's because they created it and they have to now build a movement. It's the same. Any guru has to go on the extreme end of things for them to be able to sell what they have and go against something else. So that's another thing you have to understand about media, about how this whole like guru space works. You find someone or you find something that goes against something else, you galvanize people around that one topic, and you boost it up, and you get people to really adopt that and forget everything else, and actually even become enemies of that other side or that other spectrum of things. But what remains true is balance. It's never a super extreme one way or a super extreme the other way. Everything is about a balance. So with all these diets, there's no point, because you as a human being, you need all three macronutrients for you to be okay. So you need to have a balance. You need to have a balance of carbs that you eat, complex carbs specifically, if you really want to go that route, right? You need to have a balance of protein, right? You can get protein from some plant sources like, you have garbanzo beans, you have like regular beans. You can get protein from different sources, but you also want to be able to eat meat, because meat has a lot of those full amino acid profile proteins that are really good for you. Like they have almost the most nutrients that you could have in a protein source. You have your iron, you have your B12, you have all these things in red meat that it's good for you. You don't need to be a vegan. But there's some people who react better to veganism. Everyone's body is different, but you should come at it with a balanced approach, especially when you are looking at, oh, what's the best? And that's why I put the title as it is, because I know everyone's going to click on that, because they want to know what's the next best diet. What's the next fad diet that I need to be? And what you'll see is these people basically make these diets their identity. So for example, veganism. Veganism is someone's identity. It's not just a diet for somebody. They literally become a vegan, right? Carnivore diet, you become a carnivore lover, right? Or whatever they call it. I don't know what the name is, but people just wrap their identities around these things, and it's very unhealthy. Like, you want to make sure that you're balanced. I can eat whatever I want, right? And I know that I understand the power of macronutrients. I understand the real fundamentals of nutrition, where it's like caloric surplus, I gain weight, I build muscle. Caloric deficit, I lose fat, I trim down. That's literally the basis of everything. Caloric intake and making sure that you hit all of the macronutrients that your body needs to support you in your fitness goals that you have. You don't need a fat diet. So the best diet to be in is the balanced diet. It's the diet where you can get all of your macronutrients reached using whole foods, making sure that you're limiting the amount of artificial or processed foods that you consume. That is literally the best diet you can ever think of. And it's going to help you hit your goals a lot faster than you going an extreme way on keto. I'll tell you this, there's a lot of people who they'll get into keto and all of a sudden, once they get off of keto, they'll balloon back up. Or people who just get on a certain diet, once they leave that diet, they balloon back up because these things are not sustainable. A diet is not sustainable, right? That's why I'm against fad diets, because they're not sustainable unless you wrap your identity around it. Then it just becomes an unhealthy obsession, right? And you don't want to have an unhealthy obsession with a fad diet that a guru sold you, right? You want to make sure that what you are, your principles, your principles of nutrition, they're very fundamental. Right, you understand, and I'm literally telling you the fundamentals of nutrition in this video. They sound very basic, but that's all it is. Caloric deficit, caloric surplus. Make sure that you are in either or depending on your goals, right? Make sure that you hit your macronutrients, your carbs, your fats, your proteins, right? Make sure that you have a plethora of foods that you're consuming that are whole foods, and you'll be good. That's it. There's no fad diets. They need to be out 2024. We can't be doing fad diets anymore. We are too grown to be getting bamboozled by all these gurus telling us what the new diet is. I can't wait to see what the new diet's going to be for 2024. I know carnivore diet's been really big lately, and I disagree with that one too, because it's like, yeah, you can eat meat all day, but like you also need veggies. You also need different things. You need greens. You need like carbs, right, to be able to move. And people are quick to remove these things from their diet, not knowing, or from their nutrition, not knowing that you may have gotten an inferior source of carbs, right? If you're just eating simple sugars, simple carbs all day, that is an inferior carb source. So obviously if you remove that, you're gonna feel a lot better. That's why people say they feel a lot better on these different diets, because they just remove the junk food, which we can talk about whether junk food exists or not. I think all foods have their own use cases. It just depends on what you need it for. Like I can eat a chocolate bar, go to the gym, and it'll help me with my energy, right? It'll help me with my glycogen stores. So everything has a purpose, but I digress. My whole point is you want to make sure that you're doing something that's sustainable that you can do in the long run. Right? If you're just a keto guy and that's just your identity, yeah, it's cool, because every human being wants to have an identity. They want to be a part of a tribe. They want a community. That's why these things are so popular. It's not because of the fundamentals of these things specifically. You'll notice every guru that comes out with a new diet will always say that is the best diet and all other diets are trash. And that's when you know that that is just somebody pushing a marketing stunt on you, and you're being basically pushed in a certain direction for monetary purposes. So you have to understand that, and with nutrition, just make sure everything's balanced and make sure that your body's getting everything that it needs based on the goals that you want for your body, right? That's the premise of this video, for you to understand what the best diet is and how to go about finding the best foods for you to eat, and also just making sure that you align your nutrition with your specific goals for yourself. Hopefully this video was helpful. It was a very high level video. I always love giving people frameworks and not specifics, because everyone's specifics are very different, but frameworks work for everyone. So if you like this video, like it, share it, subscribe. Let's keep going with YouTube. I'm loving this daily content. I'm hoping this is helping you guys, especially in the fitness world, the self-improvement world, and just overall life. So I'll catch y'all on the next video.